As you're looking at a practice, do you see spots where practices are maybe overly dependent on particular staff for what they're doing currently?
Yeah, that's definitely a big player here, Rusty. In the corporate world, and even in small business, you can purchase what's called key person insurance, and that's
Mhm.
an insurance policy you have on that person to sustain the business through troubled times. Let's say the
Mhm.
leader, the CEO, the owner, the president dies or disabled.
Right.
In a similar way, that key person risk exists in a dental practice, but it goes beyond death or disability. It's not just am I worried this person's going to die or this person's going to be disabled. It includes something that's far more common in dentistry, and that is someone leaves.
Mhm.
Maybe they just walk out after a bad day, and that key
Mm.
person takes with them all the systems, maybe in their head. In
Right.
the back part of the office, it could be a trusted assistant, or it could even be a long term hygienist.
Mhm.
Now, up front, some say, well, that's got to be the office manager. That's a little harder to pin down because office manager means so many things in so many different practices. Some offices, that's just a title for the most senior person. But when
Right.
you get to that person who is filling what we call the insurance coordinator role, now we're talking about something that's more consistent from practice to practice. If
Mm.
a
Mhm.
practice is totally fee for service, accepts no insurance, that's one thing, but very, very few of those out there today. If a practice is involved in insurance networks consistently, whether that's a small practice, a large group, these roles look very similar. And that is someone that needs to be involved on the very front end of the revenue cycle all the way to the back end and know what's going on. So when that person disappears, even temporarily, it can create real anxiety for the doctor or anybody else that's trying to hold things together. So a doctor can lose a capable insurance coordinator, uh, and and that coordinator, like the doctor we talked about at the beginning, who is the system,
Mhm.
that capable insurance coordinator has become the system for insurance coordination. So when they lose that person, they lose a lot. That person knows the employer plans that are routinely in and out of the practice. They know the nuances of the networks the practice is in. They know the credentials for getting into the carrier portals. I mean, everything
Right. Right.
walked out with that person, and so then one day they're gone, and no one knows those
Mm.
passwords. They can't get into those portals. Nobody can download the EFTs to process the payment. No one knows how to enter plans in the software, submit claims on this new claims processing software. So that person just walked out the door with all that knowledge,
Mm.
and you see prior to that, it felt efficient because that person was getting the job done.
Right.
And it feels efficient until it's not, you know? And if that person's out for a week, leaves the practice, or gets overwhelmed by growth, things start to slip, claims slow down, AR increases. Now, suddenly the doctor realizes how dependent everything was on that key person you mentioned. And worse, it's like someone has slowly begun turning the spigot off for the cash flow. It's
Yeah.
not just insurance revenue that's tied to claims that are not going out and getting paid, because all too often practices have told patients, well, we'll wait to settle this, settle your account until the insurance comes back. So it's not just the insurance portion many times that's shut off in the cash flow. It's the patient portion as well. When insurance AR piles up, patient AR piles up on top of that. And
Mhm.
so it's a double edged sword, really. So I like to compare that insurance coordinator role to like the conductor of a symphony. Uh, the best conductors aren't the soloists who steal the show. They're the
Hmm.
people who have a working knowledge of all the instrument families and how to direct those instruments and how to pace them and ultimately how to create the most memorable effect on the audience. And so we're going to call the audience the practice. So that's what that insurance coordinator is there for. She knows all the ins and outs. And she's not the person who does it, or maybe it's a he, is not the person who does it. That insurance coordinator is the person who coordinates all of the things so that it has the best effect on the practice. And so the goal is not to remove people, great people, from the process. The goal is to build solid systems
Right.
that allow great people to flourish every day without undue stress. And that's what creates stability. It creates scalability, and that's
Hmm.
tremendously important. And it ultimately protects the value of the practice when you have gotten a conductor of the symphony and not a solo violinist.